Hey everybody, it's bingo time once again. Make sure that you have your marker or your crayon and you are ready to circle the ones that get called. You can go ahead and circle that penguin's foot right now. Hopefully that one helps you out to get B-I-N-G-O either straight across or diagonally in either direction. You can go diagonally, any way that you want, but it has to be straight across or diagonal. And then once you get your winning card, then you need to take a picture of it and post it to social media using the hashtag
Music lessons in a box.
Music lessons in a box. And if you do that and you are one of the first people to post your winning card, then you will get points for that. Make sure you don't use an old video or an old card. That's cheating. No cheating allowed. I think that's it. Good luck. Here we go.
1.5 is the value of any dotted quarter note or dotted quarter rest. This is the great, the amazing Bach. This is a quarter rest and it's worth 1. Accelerando means to gradually get faster. If two of the same notes have a swoopy line over or below them, that means they're tied together. You're only supposed to play the first one and just hold it out through the second one.
A decrescendo looks like a sideways V going from the big end to the little end, showing you that you should have a lot of sound going to a little sound.
Since the spaces of the treble clef spell the word face, F-A-C-E, this one is on the bottom, which makes it the F of face. The spaces of the treble clef spell the word face, F-A-C-E, and this is the third one up, so it is the C. It looks like fine, but it's pronounced fine, and it means it's the end, the finish. The second line up in the bass clef is always going to be a B. The bass clef is the graph for all the lower notes. Three is the value of any dotted half note or dotted half rest. This is a bass clef sign, also known as an F clef. It is the graph for all of the lower notes. This is on the first little ledger line above the bass clef, which means this is middle C. Eight VA means you're supposed to play it 1 octave or 8 notes higher. The spaces of the bass clef spell A-C-E, ace, and this is on the very bottom one, so it's the A of ace. This counts as an E in the treble clef or the bass clef. This counts if you've got a C in the treble clef or in the bass clef. It kind of looks like a B, but it's actually a flat sign, and it means to play the note slightly lower. The one, the only, Mr. Beethoven. Anytime we have the treble clef and bass clef showing up together, it's called the grand staff. Mezzo forte means kinda loud, because mezzo means kinda and forte means loud. This whole note is worth 4 beats. This counts as a B in the treble or the bass clef. This half note is worth 2 beats. This dotted quarter rest is worth 1.5 beats. That note is on a space below the treble clef, which makes it a D. A bar line is an up and down, a vertical line that separates measures. BPM stands for beats per minute, and it's the tempo marking for any metronome. An accidental is any flat or sharp or natural sign, anything telling you to play something different than what is normal for the song. The time signature is what tells us how many beats are in each measure and what kind of note we're counting with. The third line up on the treble clef is always a B. This counts as an A in the treble clef or the bass clef. The bottom line on the bass clef is always going to be a G. The bottom line on the treble clef is always going to be an E. This is the first ledger line below the treble clef, which makes it the all-important middle C. That's a quarter note, which is worth 1. Four time is the time signature where we can have up to 4 quarter notes in each measure. Staccato is a dot above or below a note, and it just tells you that you're supposed to disconnect that note from the other ones around. Don't hold it out a long time. The fourth line on the treble clef is always going to be a D. This note is on the space above the bass clef. It's 1 note below middle C, which means this is B. Since the spaces of the bass clef spell the word ace, A-C-E, this is the second one up, which means it's the C of ace. A repeat sign is 2 dots stacked on top of each other that tell you to go back and play it all again. The third line up on the bass clef is always going to be a D. Forte means play it loudly. Tenuto means to hold the note for the full value, maybe a little bit longer. That's a quarter note, which is worth 1. This half note is worth 2 beats. Since forte means loudly, fortissimo means really loudly. It's usually indicated with 2 F's next to each other. Any quarter note or quarter rest is worth 1 beat. This counts as a D in the treble or the bass clef. A measure is just a chunk of beats within a song. Most songs have at least 8 or more measures. Some of them have up to like hundreds of measures. An accent looks like a little V on its side above or below a note, and it just means to punch that one a little bit harder, make it a little bit louder. This rest only has one notch or one flag on it, which means that it's an eighth rest worth 1/2. It looks like a top hat, but it's actually a half rest and it's worth 2 beats. That rest looks like an upside down hat, which means it's a whole rest, worth 4. The second space up on the treble clef is an A because all the spaces spell the word face, F-A-C-E.
And that's all we're calling today for Musical Bingo, so hopefully you were a winner. If not, don't worry, there's always next month. And if you were a winner, make sure you post that right away because you want to be one of the first people and earn your points. See you next time.
Bye.